Hey everybody, how is it going? This is Babylon 5. This is season 5, episode number 9. This episode is called In the Kingdom of the Blind. Now, when we get a Babylon 5 episode title, sometimes they intrigue me greatly. This is one of them. Mainly because last episode we had the whole Day of the Dead situation where we had Lockley, Linnea, Michael and Londo receive visitations from people who have passed away, and we got to see some backstory for Lockley mainly, which was interesting because that's probably the most we've learned about her and relationship she had before joining the station since she's been here. Other than her being briefly married to John, we didn't really know anything else about her other than she fought in the war and she was fighting on Clark's side of things. That was where her loyalty at the time lay. And, you know, it was interesting to see that with her because it kind of brought out a human side to her that we'd not yet seen, because I just immediately didn't trust her when she was brought aboard, mainly because of the Clark links. But it was nice to see kind of that more vulnerable side of her, really, because she does come across as quite authoritarian and very pro the rules. Like when she talks to Corwin, she's always like, has this gone by this? She's very by the book. Whereas obviously we're not really used to that here. And she brings a different dynamic, which is interesting to watch. What worried me the most, though, was who everybody else was going to see. I was panicking at times, thinking, are we going to see Talia? But after I watched it, a part of me did think, after what we learned from what Bester said, and Susan had said to Bester, he's maybe just trying to rile you up in regard to what had apparently happened to Talia. And because we didn't see Talia, I think even if Susan was here, she might have seen Marcus. So it's kind of like, you know, maybe what they said about Talia actually wasn't true. I just assumed she was dead. So I could be in error there because it's never really been approached again. So it's going to be interesting to see what this one's about, because this title, I'm a bit like, oh, hello, let's go.
This is my analysis of the latest batch of reports from the Rangers.
Oh.
We've had a major increase in attacks against the shipping lines of the Alliance Worlds in recent weeks.
Hit and run attacks, very efficient. Survivors, no warning. So far, very typical rate.
Do not think.
What's wrong? Because he stopped.
Ships were destroyed with the cargo still on board.
Raiders strike quickly, knock out communications and navigational control.
Why would
Plunder
they
the
leave
cargo base, then destroy the ships?
the shipments?
Whoever's behind these attacks isn't interested in cargo or profit.
John, these attacks are being carried out with almost military-like precision. Textbook search and destroy missions.
Shit.
Do the Rangers have any idea who's responsible for this?
Nope.
It's
No
not.
survivors, no witnesses.
It's
and
not
no
the
evidence.
Drazi, is it? Because
The
we've seen
transports
them
were so
being a
completely
bit.
overwhelmed they didn't even have a chance to fight back.
The attacks have been totally random.
Oh,
So that rules out border skirmishes or political disagreements.
not the Drazi.
There is no one obvious to blame.
Which means they'll blame each other randomly.
It's going to cause chaos.
Tell the Rangers to deploy along the main shipping lines, monitor all frequencies for distress signals.
Oh
We have
no.
to find out who is responsible for this. We're going to have a real problem on our hands.
Yeah,
Prime Minister Malari.
and his bodyguard.
So good to have you back.
Nothing changes,
Perhaps
does
we
it?
should change that. Just a few chains to make the others more comfortable before we put him in a cell.
Good
He
God.
is my bodyguard. Minister Vetere, I wasn't joking. His name is Jakar, and he is my bodyguard.
Is that the last of them? Good, close it up.
Oh,
Yesterday, something happened that will change the lives of everyone.
that made me think of where the
Perhaps
Markabs
even
went
alter the course
for
of the future.
isolation.
Most of you know Lita Alexander. During the Shadow War, she served the Vorlons.
They know her a lot
acted
more
as their
now,
go-between. But to find that we would not even be telepaths,
if not
would
for the
not be hunted
Vorlons.
down and caged and controlled if the Vorlons had not interfered with our genetic makeup, made us into what we are.
The Vorlons, the Shadows, they're all gone. There's no one left.
Yes. But their legacy remains.
He has a point there.
We are that legacy. A legacy created with one purpose. To serve the other worlds in a war that is now over. Which leaves us where?
Exactly.
Abandoned?
Yeah.
Alone? No. There is another way. But it is dangerous.
It's like that speech Jakar had, isn't it, about the ants?
Yes.
The telepaths became the ants.
Hello, Prime Minister.
Hello, Jean. Where have you been? I've been asking for you all day.
I was away. I only just now learned of your return. I hope this isn't a bad
Did not think I'd see a Centauri with a beard.
Yes, sit, my old friend.
Thank you.
How's the Regent?
Not well, they say.
They say? Haven't you seen him?
Well,
He remains in seclusion. Officially, only his personal physician and a few trusted aides have seen him for almost 2 months.
that is a beautiful voice.
And unofficially?
Some of the staff have found him wandering the palace late at night. They say he talks to himself.
It's not.
Cries,
Oh, no.
wails, curses,
He's not talking to
and then
himself.
falls silent when somebody approaches. Sometimes he says he has something important to tell them. Then a cloud seems to pass over his face.
Shit.
And
We
he
saw that
gets
with Captain
shy.
Jack.
Once, before his aides could bring him back to his room, he told a guard to kill him, that he was not himself.
Oh, shit.
Of course, he was quite drunk at the time.
Was he?
There's a silent leader now.
I was updating the status report on our fleet. It's standard protocol. When an aide to the Regent told me to stop, said that information was for the Regent only.
Oh.
And other reports too, grain production, food supplies, ore production, have all
Being kept from everybody?
classified as top secret.
Why?
Nobody knows. It's a strange thing, London.
Lights. Lights.
Oh no. Oh no, he's a gunner. Oh, he had such a nice beard.
Who's there? Regent? Is that you?
Yes? Yes? So they tell me.
Oh no.
And what are you doing here?
Slowly descending into madness.
I came to see you, Lord Jano.
But you shouldn't be here. It's late. You should be asleep.
I suppose I should.
I do feel
But
bad
I
for this
wanted
guy.
to see you. You do understand, Jano. If it were my decision,
Oh God.
I would never let anyone harm you. I would never let anyone hurt you.
But it's not his decision.
If it were my decision.
Shit.
But it's not my decision, you see.
What the hell was that?
Not my decision at all.
I think that concludes all our business today. Thank you for coming. Oh, and we have an updated report on the security of your shipping lines. It'll be uplinked to your systems tonight.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be that secure because, you know, apparently it's getting bad.
And now the screaming begins.
It started.
Shit.
There's no turning back now.
Oh, she's done her hair.
I'll need you to stay here and coordinate things while I go find Mr. Garibaldi. In the next 24 hours, I'll need you more than I've ever needed anyone.
What the hell's...
Your strength.
Oh God.
Wisdom.
Where is Lord Jono?
Dead.
He said he would meet me here.
I'm sorry, Prime Minister. It is all I can do to keep my own itinerary straight, let alone that of Lord Jarno's. I will inquire if that is what you want. I just came in to look for him, and I found Lord Jarno.
On the ceiling?
That
Oh no.
I shall summon the palace guard.
Oh no,
This is a
they've made it
terrible
look
game,
like
Ollie.
he's done it himself.
Looked in his eyes when I searched him. This was not a man who would seek death.
No.
Jono would never kill himself. Never.
He was
Londo.
murdered.
What can I do for you?
I'd like permission to address the Council for the Alliance.
About what?
I'd rather not say.
Then the answer is no.
It's rather important.
Well, then you're going to have to tell me what it is.
You've had a number of recent attacks against aligned shipping lines. By now, the other races know all about it. My information could calm them down, but if I give it to any one person first, they'll think it's a trick. It has to be done in front of all. The Alliance we were created to serve must now help its creations by giving us and all telepaths a homeworld of our own.
Byron, you're out of order.
Shit.
Now, what you are asking for
Is small compared to the sacrifices we have made. There are many habitable worlds on the edge of your territories, which have no real value to you.
I'm sorry, there's nothing we can do. What you are asking for will be given.
Over the last 2 days, each of you has been followed by one of my people. They have scanned every thought,
All of them.
every secret, every hidden thing you would not want known.
To use against them?
We now have all your secrets.
Oh God.
Give us a home world of our own, and you will never hear from us again.
He's blackmailing them.
Fail to do so, and all your secrets will be revealed.
I never saw that coming.
Byron's telepaths have
provided us with solid information ever since you brought them into the Covert Intelligence Division.
That is true.
You couldn't have known they were going to pull this.
I should have known. Don't they understand what they're doing here? They might as well just rolled in a grenade.
Leaving everyone to assume they know the most damaging information possible.
Mm-hmm.
Which begs the question, what are we going to do about it?
Oh.
Jakar!
Shit!
Yes,
I'm glad you had something to eat.
so am I. When I moved, run.
He didn't run!
You should never have come back to Centauri Prime. You are an obstacle to my ambitions. With one move, I remove you.
Oh no! What the hell? They have two hearts though. What is that?
As of now, I am withdrawing my protection. You are authorized to move as soon as you are ready.
Oh Lord. Yeah, that
Do what you have to do,
that
Sam.
went bad for Byron. I think he might have known that. That's why he was so
They'll be
adamant
coming
in
for
them
us
not
soon.
using violence.
We need to prepare.
Oh well, he's been hiding then. Oh, he got them from the Drazi.
We took these from the Drazi. We can get more.
Oh shit.
It was you who saved me?
Oh,
Oh shit.
not exactly. It was them. They like you, you know. That's why they saved you. They say you are just like them. They say
That you are just like them.
you will be emperor soon. Yes. I'm sorry.
Oh God.
I'm so sorry.
What could they be doing with our ships?
Oh, hang on. Hang on.
Do not fire! We're unarmed! We've done nothing to you! We've done nothing!
I found this really interesting to watch, actually, seeing, the introduction of this episode where there seems to be these issues with a lot of the ships being shot down and them attributing it to raiders, but it actually had nothing to do with the raiders because the cargo was being left behind and they couldn't understand why it was being left behind. And then, we kind of moved on a little bit into seeing the telepaths getting ready to make their presentation to John, which was mentioned a couple of episodes ago. And I did find it really interesting that it seemed like Day of the Dead ran parallel to that episode because, Byron was saying, how we learned this about the Vorlons last night from Lita. And I was like, oh, okay. So it seems like they've kind of ran against each other at the same time. And it's interesting because I had said, I don't think that talk with Byron is going to go the way that he wants it to. Maybe he preempted that as well, actually, because he said later in this episode, we've got to get ourselves ready. So maybe he always had at the back of his mind that, it wouldn't go in his favour. And I think Byron shouting at John in the conference room was the first kind of example of Byron showing that kind of anger, really. He always seems quite subdued, and then he kind of had that one outburst to John. Although, to be fair, John reciprocated. John was shouting as well. So it was, interesting to see that. And, them having the discussions about, Delenn being that voice of reason again, where she said, look, if you'd been through what they've been through, you would want what they want. And John making a remark and Delenn being like, well, that's funny because now you're starting to sound like the president of Earth, who he met after, or acting president, he met after the whole Clark situation. And to see that, they ended up and decided to barricade themselves in Brown sector and the doors, and basically find themselves in this siege situation. Poor Zach is just stuck in the middle of Lockley, John, Lita. I kind of feel like he doesn't know which way to turn, and he's kind of just being, a messenger from pillar to post. And I feel so bad for that dude. He never signed up for that, And then we've got the whole concept, the whole instance where we saw some of the Drazi getting angry because they've been telepaths following them, and learning that the telepaths had been gathering intel from all of the people within the Alliance so that they could get information to use against them in a blackmail type scenario. I'm kind of wondering how much of that is a bluff, how much of that is actually what they're going to do, attempt to do, because we now know that there's this faction that's gone off and have separated themselves from Byron, and it's now like that colony is falling apart from within. It's kind of like the Judas scenario, isn't it, really? And he's now gone off with his own people, and there's Byron still fighting the good fight that he wants to fight, and he's got Lisa with him as well, who won't leave his side, although he has now said to her, you will at some point. And it's like got to the point now where I'm just on edge constantly. Then we go to Centauri Prime, and it was interesting to see that Londo had this really nice friend with this beautiful voice who, you know, was worried about the Regent. And then we could understand why he'd be worried about the Regent. And he was talking about how the palace had fallen under like a darkness, which was a nice shadow reference. And now knowing that there's some other race here, as well as the Keeper on the Regent, it makes me think, has the Keeper got a Keeper? Does that person work for the Keepers? Were they a separate ally of the Shadows? Are they working together? And I felt so bad for the Regent when he had that conversation with Londo that we then in the future see Londo have with John and Delenn, where he's basically compass mentis and he's saying, you don't have much time left. You kind of need to make the most of it. Whereas Londo to John and Delenn was like, you need to get out. There's a ship waiting. It'll take you home. And it was that one moment of clarity again. And there was just something about that scene that just got me, and it made me cry. And this poor guy was, you know, and then we've seen him getting strangled. Londo just basically saying, this isn't the place that I thought it was. I don't feel like I can be safe here, basically. We need to get on the first transport out. And that's the worry. Like, he's here, but Jakar's here as well. And that's what worries me, that Jakar's here, because we know, you know, the animosity that is evidently still exists between the Centauri and the Nan in some extent. Some of the people in the royal court clearly just thought Londo had brought Jakar with him for entertainment. And, you know, it's like, oh God, what the hell are we even going to do? Because I want to know who this other person is that seemed to be been talking to the Regent. Like, what's their role in all of this? Are we going to be able to get off Centauri Prime? It's just going to be mad. And then we've got the situation of, is that going to have to break into Brown Sector? What are the other group of telepaths going to do? And then we saw at the end with the Centauri ship, and when he said, like, it never even occurred to me when his friend was talking about what the ships were doing, being classified, and then it wasn't until Londo brought it up again at the end where he said, I wonder what they're doing with our ships, that it dawned on me. And I was like, holy shit. It's their ships. It's not Raiders. So that's going to come out. That's got to come out at some point, right? I'm worried. I'm going to sign off and say thank you, and I will see you guys later. So thank you.